Now we're going to go in with our clips and create sections, 1 to 2 inch sections. The tighter the curl, the smaller the sections need to be to have more control and better definition. We're also going to go in with our water bottle and make sure that section is nice and wet so the product will work through the hair more efficiently. We're applying the Uncle Funky's Curly Magic as our first product, and we chose this because this product has slip. It will help with moisture retention. It will also help with curl definition. We're going in with our Felicia Leatherwood brush, combing the product through the hair, distribute it evenly throughout this section. I'm going to add more water before we apply our topper, which is Inner Sense I Create Whole Gel. This gel is very concentrated, and we want to make sure the hair is wet enough to absorb the product so it don't sit right on top of the hair. And we're going to go in with our fingers with this application of the gel to make sure we are elongating the hair and also creating separation with our fingers. We're actually doing like a finger comb or rake and smooth. So once you rake and smooth a section, you want to really elongate it, leave it, and move on to your next section. We'll continue on to our next section, making a 1 to 2 inch sectioning. And we're going to go through those steps again. We're going to apply that water. And you can kind of see how the water sits on top of her hair. This is letting us know that she has low porosity. So we need to really work that product into the hair. Really kind of pushing it in with our hands. Really pushing it into the hair strands. And you can see how that Uncle Funky's really lays that hair down. That's what you want to see. You want to have enough product where the hair kind of collapse down. And then we're going to go in with our I Create Whole Gel right on top of that. You don't always have to reapply water. The hair will let you know if you need to. So you can see how that hair was laying down. It's accepting that product. So we did not need to apply more gel at this time or more water at this time. Now let's talk about how we got her to this stage. First of all, we went in because she is low porosity. We went in and we decided we needed to do a clarifying or detox shampoo, which we chose to use the K18 Detox Shampoo to remove all buildup. We then went in with a hydrating shampoo, the Inner Sense Hydrating Hair Bath. We'll follow that up with the Inner Sense Hydrating Conditioner with Steam. The hydrating conditioner with steam allowed us to do a very good detangle um, and get her hair ready for this process. As you can see, we're able to move through our hair fairly quickly because her hair is in a detangled state. And we know with this texture, the hair recoils, retangles as we're moving. So that's why the products are really helping to keep that hair soft and pliable so we can move through this process. Always be careful not to disturb the sections that you've already done, and that is why we choose to start from the nape and work up, so we are not working over or on top of the work we have already done. Also be mindful to style the hair or lay the hair how you want it to be at the end of the style. You want to part it where you want it parted. You want to take it to the side you want it to fall to, because with hair with this texture, once we set it and dry it, that's what you're going to have. And you'll notice me here kind of using my fingers to sandwich that section. That was to remove any excess product, because when you have low porosity hair, any excess product left on the hair will cause flaking. And also you want to clean your hands in between sections as needed. As you start to feel stickiness and a buildup on your hands, you want to remove that so you will not deposit that onto the hair. You notice me here making this section smaller. As you start doing your wash and go and you get into it, sometimes you start to make those sections bigger and bigger. You do not want to do that because you will have an inconsistent look. You will have some hair that's nice and defined, and then you have areas that are more puffy and frizzy. So you want to be consistent with your sectioning throughout this entire process. And let's go back through it again. Here we are really pushing that product into that hair so the hair can benefit. Number one, it is a very nourishing product. It has aloe vera, slippery elm, as well as marshmallow. All these products will help to retain moisture. It also has properties to help that hair with growth. It has rosemary oil. So make sure your products not only will give you a good style, but you want your products to benefit your hair as well as your scalp. Applying water again before we go in with that concentrated gel I create whole. You notice me warming that product up in my hands so it will go onto the hair and penetrate into the strands and not just sit on top. You can see that hair changing really right before your eyes, from being full and voluminous with no curl definition to being sleek, defined, and laying. So moving on up through the sections as we get right over the ear, we want to start incorporating the side section into our styling. And sometimes with this texture, right over the ears can be an area where we experience more shrinkage, more frizz. So we want to really make sure we get in there with our Felicia Leatherwood brush, because you will notice in some sections I'm not using the brush, but in this section I want to make sure that the hair is elongated. I'm also making that section smaller because I want to alleviate frizz throughout this section, as well as excess shrinkage. So the smaller the section, the better the definition and the less frizz we will get throughout the life of this style. Now that brings us to a question that a lot of curly girls have, or curly clients have. If you're a stylist, your clients will ask you, how long will this style last? Well, typically, this style on her will last about a week. But we want to make sure we do not give our clients a time. It really depends on their lifestyle. It depends on body chemistry. It depends on the elements outside. But typically, a wash and go of this fashion on this texture of hair can last anywhere from 4 to 7 days, sometimes longer. Now, our recommendation is to cleanse, hydrate, detangle, remove shed hair weekly. So you can see us using the Felicia Leatherwood brush, really pulling that product through the hair, distributing it well, and also smoothing with our hands. This is going to create the collapse of the hair and help us define those curls. Now don't worry, her hair will not stay flat. With her texture, it is born with volume. So the volume will come, but we want to see definition within the volume. So that's what we're creating now. And throughout the life of this style, her volume will grow every day. So now that we know the steps, we're going to speed this up and we're going to continue that process around the head. Once we get to the ears, we start working around the head to the other side. You can see the curl definition there. Get a good close-up of that definition. Beautiful. So now we are in the crown area, and you will find in the crown area, no matter what the texture or curl pattern, the hair will tend to be more dry and frizzy. And this is because this area is mostly exposed to the elements, to the sun, to the wind, to all those things. And so that section tends to be a little more dehydrated, uh, frizzy, sometimes less definition, uh, sometimes a lot tighter, and then sometimes a lot more stretched out. So for this reason, we need to handle it differently. That means it needs more water, more moisturizer, and also heavier on um, the gel or whatever styling product that you're using to keep that definition intact and keep the frizz down. And sometimes you even need to go in and use smaller sections. Just giving you a close-up on this section of the hair. And in this area, we're also still going down or back. We haven't created our frontal area, our frontal part. So we want to just take this section back. Still making those 1 to 2 inch partings. Still applying our product in the same way, which is our base product, Uncle Funky's, and then I create whole. And when we are using our brush, it's normally when we are using our base product to make sure it is evenly distributed. And once again, you see me using my hands to pull any excess product off. And here we're using our topper, which is the Inner Sense gel I create whole, raking and smoothing. And what the raking does is create curl separation, and then the smoothing really elongates that hair at the end. So whatever you see while the hair is wet, that's what you will see when the hair is dry. So if the hair is frizzy and shrunken, that's what you will see when it dries. So we want to make sure that the hair is nice and defined, no frizz, and eliminate as much shrinkage as possible if this is what you are going for. Now let's move through the remainder of this section quickly. Now we're going to start working on this side. This will be our heavier side. And so because we want the hair to fall heavy to this side, I will start working in sections all the way over until I am ready to part, creating more volume on this side. So what this is called is kind of a style map. So based on what you want, you you map out how are you going to style your hair in a way that will enable you to do your sections without disturbing your sections, and also deciding how you want that hair to lay throughout the course of this style, throughout the week. And this is specifically with uh, tighter curls, especially when you're using products that's going to give maximum definition and hold. You want to make sure that you apply your products in the direction and map them out the way you want that hair to be throughout the week. You can make some changes or alterations throughout the week, but with this type of styling, normally you want to decide what you want to wear for that week and style it in that pattern. So you can see we're directing most of that hair over to this side using the same product application. So now we'll move quickly through this section and move on to the next. Okay, now so we're working on the frontal section. We want this section to kind of fall forward to frame her face. So we're going to style in that direction. If you wanted that hair to go away from the face, you would style in that direction. And also the frontal section around the face, around the forehead, we conduct a lot of heat from that area. So we want to make sure that that area is very well defined, and we want to make sure the gel is heavy enough to combat that frizziness that will come to that area. And also keep in mind that if you do get frizz in this area, overly frizzy, and the rest of your hair is still nice and defined, you can easily go in and refresh using the last product that you applied. So what you would do if that hair gets really frizzy, you would just do a spot refresh. You would not refresh your entire head. You would just take a little water, spritz that area only, take some of your I Create Hold gel, apply it to that section, rake and smooth, and you could let it dry naturally, or you could use a diffuser to dry it. So for the frontal section, we're doing the same thing. We're using inch partings. We're applying that water as needed, Uncle Funky's, and then our gel. And remember, you want to use more gel in your frizz-prone areas. Raking and smoothing. So we get the concept. We're going to move on through this section quickly to the next section. At this point, her hair is completely styled. All the products are applied. Um, we just basically did a style where her hair is heavier going to one side and a little less hair going to the other side. Not a definite part. And right now we are diffusing. We are not touching the hair with the diffuser, and I'm only holding the area over that I want to fall heavy to that side, but not touching the hair much at all with my hands. Now we will not dry her hair like this the entire time. I am doing this to create some lift and volume before I put her under the hooded dryer for the remainder of the time. So basically we will do this for maybe 10 minutes, and then she will go under the dryer, hooded dryer, to dry the remainder of the time, and she probably will take about 40 to 45 minutes to dry completely because her hair is very dense. So we will speed up the process to the end. At this point, she has come from under the hooded dryer, and we are now taking the concentrated nozzle and really putting some air in those curls to create more volume. And now, the finished product. I hope you were educated, empowered,